Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be, taking a closer look at RFK Jr. and specifically, all these stories about his relationships. It's more than just like gossip, right? There's this news article that really digs in and uncovers some patterns, and we're going to unpack all of that, like what it says about power dynamics, the historical context, all of it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it, how this story kind of goes beyond the usual celebrity stuff. I mean, we're talking about a family dynasty here. You can't really separate the man from the myth, right? That Kennedy legacy looms large.
It really does. And this article, I mean, it jumps right in. They talk about this journalist, Olivia Nuzzi, who profiled RFK Jr. And, well, their interactions after the piece came out, it's become, shall we say, a bit of a talking point.
Well, you mentioned myth, and it's funny because the Kennedys, they've cultivated a certain image over the years, and their history with women, let's just say it's practically a part of their public story. Even this article, it makes a direct connection, RFK Jr.'s behavior and that of men in his family.
It makes you wonder how much of this is learned, right? Like, are these patterns just ingrained in a family's DNA?
Yeah.
Especially a family with such a, well, a strong legacy like that.
That's a really interesting question. I mean, we talk about power dynamics all the time, but within a family unit, especially one as, well, as prominent as the Kennedys, it's amplified, don't you think?
Totally. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The article quotes someone close to RFK Jr., and they said, any woman involved with him has to go in, and I quote, with her eyes open. I mean, come on, that's loaded.
It is. It really is. It speaks to this whole idea of open secrets, right? Like, how much do people know, even if it's never explicitly said? And it makes you think, is this something we see with other public figures? And what does it say about all of us when we kind of whisper about these things but never really confront them? It's a lot of pressure, to live your life under that kind of scrutiny.
It really is.
Hmm.
And it makes you think about the weight of those expectations, especially, well, for someone like RFK Jr., always having to navigate not just those public perceptions, but his family's history, too. Speaking of which, this article, it takes us way back to 2001 when those, you remember RFK Jr.'s diaries?
Oh, how could anyone forget those?
For sure. They were a big deal. I mean, it came out that he kept these, like, meticulous records of his, romantic encounters. He even ranked them, used terms like mugged or victory to describe them. Well, let's just say it was pretty revealing.
It really was. And it's not even just the diaries themselves, right?
Oh, wow.
The language he used,
Yeah.
so detached, like he was almost objectifying these women. It makes you wonder, did he see these interactions as like a form of power or even conquest?
It's unsettling, to say the least. And it's hard not to see a connection between that and what the article mentions happened more recently. RFK Jr. had to issue an apology to a woman named Eliza Cooney who accused him of sexual assault. He said he didn't remember it happening, but apologized just in case.
That's quite a carefully worded statement, isn't it? You could say it's sidestepping any real accountability. There's a pattern here, wouldn't you say? Whether it's those diaries from years ago or these new accusations, he's reluctant to really acknowledge, really address the harm he might have caused.
It's like he's always got to distance himself, keep himself separate from the consequences. And, you were just talking about scrutiny, and the article, it brings up RFK Jr.'s wife, Cheryl Hines.
Right, Cheryl Hines. Her silence on all this is pretty deafening, don't you think?
Well, it's definitely got people talking,
Hmm.
especially given her, public persona. In this article, it reminds us that even before they got married, someone warned her. A biographer, actually, a close friend of RFK Jr.'s, said any woman with him, well, she goes in with her eyes open. It's like, to be in that world, to be with someone like him, it comes with the territory.
Right. Yeah, or maybe you just compartmentalize it. I don't know. It makes you wonder about those conversations, the ones nobody else hears. Did she even listen? And then there's those rumors the article mentions about RFK Jr. seeing someone else, like right before the wedding.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now it's even more than infidelity, right? It's like everybody knows the rumors, the whispers, it's part of the whole thing.
It is. And it makes you think about us, all of us, reading this stuff, dissecting their lives, especially the women who are often, painted as well as victims. Where do we draw the line between, legitimate interest and just, I don't know, being obsessed with these people's personal lives?
It's tricky, for sure. And you're right. To bring up Cheryl Hines, she's been pretty quiet about all of it. And it's not really our place to, speculate. But you do wonder about the pressure for a woman in that position.
Yeah.
What are the consequences if you speak out against a guy that powerful?
Exactly, especially when the whole system seems to protect them, even when, well, even when they're in the wrong. It's tough. No easy answers.
Doing this deep dive, it really makes you think about how it all works. Individual choices, what society expects. It's easy to just, I don't know, get caught up in the drama, but it goes deeper than that.
It always does. Power, legacy, and all the stories we tell about them. As you go about your day, think about this. What does this story make you question about, I don't know, public figures?
Yeah.
About taking responsibility and the narratives we build around these people.
It's a lot. But that's what we do here, right? Peel back those layers. Get you thinking. So thanks for joining us for another deep dive. And until next time, keep asking the questions.